Hey everyone, Sky here to discuss 22 Jump Street, starring Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum, Peter Stormare, Ice Cube, Jillian Bell, Keith and Kenny Lucas, Nick Offerman, Amber Stevens, and Wyatt Russell, directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. Now, I have seen the movie before. What did I think of it? Well, it's about to be the same as when I think of it now. Let's get into the movie, and then you'll see what I mean by that. Schmidt and Janko, returned by Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum, go by a deal go to a deal by the Ghost, played by Peter Stormare, as they disguise themselves as gangsters, and Janko acts deaf and tells the story of what happened to Sleepy the Mexican Wolverine, the Mexican Wolverine as they call him in the movie. And they try to stop a drug dealing, and it turns out to be a bad bust as they get away in a truck while Janko fights the bad guys while Schmidt is hanging upside down. And they get stuck on a crane, which didn't turn out as funny as last time. Then we move on to Deputy Chief Hardy, returned by Nick Offerman, who was in the first film, but didn't do much here, like he doesn't do anything here again. And they go to 22 Jump Street, which is a Vietnamese church with Vietnamese Jesus, and we get Captain Dixon, returned by Ice Cube, as he sends them to college in MCU, not to be confused with Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's actually a college to look at for a drug called Wi-Fi, and not like the internet section, not like the internet thing where it's spelled like WHY space PHY, which stands for work hard and play hard with a Y at the end of the reason, for reasons I don't understand. And they go undercover as Doug and Brad McQuaid and meet their across the hall neighbors, Keith and Kenny Yang, played by Keith and Kenny Lucas. And I'm not liking this as much as last time. And the characters are likable, but not as much as last time, in my opinion. They go to open mic, and Schmidt meets Maya, played by Amber Stevens, and they talk for a little bit about. And Schmidt will make a poem, which sounds absolutely terrible. Hell, I can't even fucking stand it in this scene. They visit Eric and Mr. Walters, and Mr. Walters is Eric's bitch, and sounds like Schmidt in a nasty way. And Schmidt and Janko try out for the football team and meet Zook, played by Wyatt Russell, and Janko plays better than Schmidt, and Zook invites them to a party, and this is doing a twist of the first film, where Janko is the popular guy in school, while meeting Rooster and the rest of the football players, and Schmidt is the outcast. And my problem is, this is a twist that felt necessary, but the execution is not as good as last time. And Schmidt talks with Maya again while he was on the way home from the party, and Schmidt and Maya go to the art building, and they fall for each other and sleep together. And the next morning, Schmidt meets Maya's roommate, Mercedes, played by Jillian Bell, whom I reviewed quite a bit of a few times, like Bill and Ted Face the Music, which was pretty recent, the Angry Birds movie, Goosebumps, Inherent Vice, and The Master. So this will be my 6th time I reviewed her in a movie. And she was kind of annoying here, as I'm thinking these characters are once again not as good as last time. And I'm not having as good a time as I did with the first film. Schmidt and Janko over here, the other football players, and we hear the twist brought up earlier that they like Janko better than Schmidt, and they're high to the point Janko has unicorns on his side of his imagination, and Schmidt is like he's in hell. And the movie has a pretty good story, but it felt like a repeat of the first film. I think that's my problem right there. Janko joins the football team, and Schmidt does his own thing, and they investigate different people. And Janko has had a successful football game, and Schmidt's parents come to an event with Maya and her parents, who happens to be Queen Latifah. And here comes the one that you won't expect, Captain Dixon. which is such an awkward situation, and Captain Dixon acts like an ass of himself and flips out on Schmidt, and I thought, oh shit, Schmidt is completely fucked at this point because he's sleeping with the captain's daughter, and what made it the best scene in the whole movie is Janko announcing with and laughing at the fact Schmidt fucked the captain's daughter, which was a genius piece of writing when Janko says that and laughing out loud about it. Schmidt fucked the captain's daughter, but the scene just went on a little too long, and this is a longer movie than the last time. At about 7 minutes, it needed a little bit of editing, at least like 5 minutes of it, and 30 seconds could have been right there, in my opinion. Janko goes to his football game while Schmidt investigates the ghost, and Schmidt texts Janko nonstop, and Janko arrives in the library and encounters the ghost and his goons, and runs away from them with a chase sequence that is rather badly staged. And Maya now hates Schmidt, who is out of Jump Street and gone back to being the bicycle cop from the first film, and Schmidt's life is getting worse as Janko's life is getting better. And meets Schmidt at the park as the cops caught the Wi-Fi guy, as they're led to believe, who happens to be the wrong guy. As Janko tells Schmidt about it, and they go to Puerto Mexico for spring break, and a party goes on at the beach, and as this Wi-Fi is being passed out, and they find a lead that happens to be Mercedes, as Schmidt and Janko sneak up on them and break into Captain Dixon's barges. And Captain Dixon barges, and Mercedes captures Captain Dixon and shoots his foot as Schmidt drives a car, and Janko runs on foot to catch up with Mercedes and mostly the ghost. And Schmidt fights with Mercedes while Janko fights the ghost, And when Janko uses a girl to beat up the ghost and his goons, and that was kind of clever, as Captain Dixon comes in and almost shoots Mercedes, and Maya whacks Mercedes the fuck out and arrests her, and Schmidt tries to take a bullet for Janko, but Janko is shot in the arm instead. And Janko gets on the ghost's chopper, and Schmidt jumps and catches the chopper, and they save each other's asses. They defeat the ghost by throwing a grenade in the chopper, as the ghost almost gets away, and Captain Dixon congratulates them and tells them, "You two sons of bitches are going to medical school." And they plan all the sequels during the credits, and I really hope none of them ever happens. But after the credits, Mr. Walters lays Eric, and the climax did not make me laugh as much as the first time, so please don't make any more Jump Street movies. I'm good with just these two movies. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 6.5 out of 10. Not quite as good or funny as 21 Jump Street, as this is almost the same plot as the first film. And I didn't hate it, I liked it. It just wasn't as funny as the first film, and that's my problem with sequels to comedies. Is they're not as funny as the first time, but recycled jokes. That's what this is. And I really hope they don't make a 23 Jump Street because I'm good with just these two, honestly. If they make any more, and I have to review it, I'm going to be pissed. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next time I will be back with whenever 23 Jump Street comes. My name's Jeff.